What's up, everybody out there in Internet Land? It's your brother Moshe coming to you live from one of the, I was going to say one of the 3 man caves out of force of habit, but I don't have it anymore. I just got the one. It's alright. Anyway, welcome to the Schizophrenic Channel, where you can never ever tell what topic of video is going to be posted. And before I get started, time to wet the whistle. We're going to do an update review on the Horizontech Falcon tank. I'm going to just go over the pros really quickly, and then I'm going to give you the cons. I've been using this tank now for about, I would say, I think I bought it about 3 weeks ago to 4 weeks ago, somewhere around there. And I will tell you, before I do, time to take a toke. Decent cloud production. Decent. Now, I've been using it on the drag mod. 75 to 70 watts is usually where I go. I've turned it up to 80. It's a little too warm for me. Even sometimes 75. I usually like to keep it between 70 and 73. Again, depending on the juice you're vaping on, different flavors vape at different temperatures. And it comes with the bubble tank and the smaller tank. I think the bubble tank is 7 mils and the regular tank is 4 to 5 mils. Not 100% sure. Time to take a toke. Let's see how long we can. We're going to turn it down to 70. Let's see how big of a cloud I can blow. Now on the tail end it did get a little warm. I've noticed that the Delrim drip tips get hotter than the resin drip tips quicker. Oh man. So the pros. Flavor. I will say it's probably got the most flavor I've ever tried. Very comparable to if you're squonking or if you're dripping. It's kind of like you can barely notice the difference unless you take a toke off of a dripper or a squonker and then take a toke off of this. It's mesh, but what gives it that flavor, it's 70% organic cotton and 30% wood pulp. Now, this is the biggest juice guzzler I've ever dealt with. Oh man, time to take a toke. Sometimes I vape like I smoke chain. It's kind of why I have different tanks. And I think the 510 drip tip. No, 510 or 810. I don't know. I don't care. I don't mind this at all. I think it's a pro. I think it just gives it more flavor. Maybe not a cone style. Maybe if it was a little bit straighter, you may get a little less flavor, a little bit more cloud production. Not 100% sure. Maybe I'll go to the vape store and try out a different drip tip. One thing I'm going to say, I would say it's a con. And the con is, okay, Okay, let's see. Can we get it in there? Okay. This is what you do to fill the tank. I could do it with one hand. Apply a little pressure. It's a quarter turn. It comes right off. Now, when filling up the juice tank, not so big of a deal. But when you're trying to change out your coils and you're grabbing it from the top, depending on how you grab it, it can make it a little bit difficult. A lot of times the top comes loose. The bottom, I haven't tried squirting in some e-juice on the threads, but it's very, very difficult to change out the coil. Kind of like the TV8 tank that I have. Almost every single time I've changed out this coil, if not every single time. I think one time I didn't have to. I've had to use like paper towel wrapped around the bottom, and had to use channel locks just to get a good grip on it and twist it. Otherwise, you know, you would have to take off the top. You can get in the top with like a needle nose plier, or I would use the ceramic tip tweezers that I have, and then you have to disassemble the tank and put the coil back in. So I would call that a con. The airflow, and maybe it's just the tank that I have, it's too tight and it's not very smooth. The first couple of times I tried to adjust the airflow, it was very, very difficult. And when you put the bubble tank on, you kind of have to put your hands in a weird outward motion like this, so you can get a good grip on it. It's not straight. And I haven't used the other tank because it's a juice guzzler, guys. I mean, it just guzzles juice. Another con that you may not like, to me it's not that big of a deal, but it's a little nitpicky. It's still a little bit of a con. If you let this sit for too long, and I'm not talking overnight, I'm talking a couple hours, and then you pick it back up, you will have to deal with a flooded tank. And I think that just has a lot to do with the wood pulp that's in here. I don't know, 70 watts started to lose just a little bit of the flavor of that. I'll bump it up to 73. Let's see how that works. What I'm vaping on right now, it's not going to be a good review. And again, maybe it's the batch, maybe it's because it's been sitting in the vape store too long. Who knows? Vapetasia's Killer Custard Lemon. I taste no lemon at all, and to me it doesn't taste much like a custard at all. Let's try it again. This is, I think, I was changing flavors. This is pretty much a new coil. I had that keep it 100 strawberry milk in here, and I was getting spit back on every single hit. It was starting to become annoying. I emptied out the tank. I ran one tank through it. This is the second tank of this I'm running through it, and it's the pure flavor. Not impressed with it. I'm not going to buy that juice ever again. Not very scrumptiousness at all. Not for me. Flavors are subjective. So those are the only, and there's another con. I will say one more con to this tank. and these coils. These coils do not last long at all, and it's very expensive. At the vape store, it's $20 for a pack of 3. And it's very easy to tell when it's time to change your coil. The minute the flavor starts to change, that's when it's time to change your coil. Mostly every time that I've changed a coil is on the 5th day, and I've used just this particular tank for that amount of time. And when the coil is pretty much black. On the 3rd day is when the flavor starts to change. So I would say on average, the average vapor is only going to get 3 to 5 days on this coil. That I am not too thrilled about. Not at all. That's pretty expensive. I vape like I used to smoke. Not as much. Well, I don't know. Let's be honest. Probably just about as much. But for me, changing the coil out every 3 days. And that's what I used to do with all my smock coils, and it's what got me to not go back. With the smock coils, it was more the inconsistency of the vape. They chuck clouds. 100% chuck clouds. Sometimes you take a hit and it would be absolutely scrumptious, and then other times it would be dry. Sometimes I have a little bit of a burnt taste. Just inconsistency with the smock coils. They're not lasting long for me at all. And I've heard people say they last them a long time. I'm like, well, when do you change your coils, man? Like, can't you tell the taste difference? I mean, when I first started vaping, it was very hard for me to taste juice because my taste buds were dead from smoking. But this isn't all pros. There are some cons to the tank. The major one I see is I would see like a different top fill, and it's just difficult to just take the tank off. You got to mess with it a little bit. I didn't buy any replacement coils for this today, guys. And today is usually the day I stock up. I bought the new tank. Wanted to do that. I got plenty of Fireloop mesh coils. Those are dirt cheap. The Fireloop mesh coils, they last a while. I would say it's hard because I haven't smoked just on that tank consistently because I have the Fireloop mesh. It's 3 milliliters of juice. One good vape session, if you vape like you smoked and you were a heavy smoker, after about 30 to 40 minutes, you have to fill that tank up again. So if you're going to take that tank out with you, make sure you bring your juice because you will go dry. And again, that Vape-Tasia Killer Custard, don't taste like custard to me. Tastes like your standard dessert vape, and I don't taste much lemon in it at all. Not impressed for $20 for 60 mils. Not impressed at all. And it's a dark juice, so I bet you it's a coil killer. All right, let's see if you can get the full effect of the vapor production. Let's see. I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to turn it up to 80 watts, which is the max for this coil. It's wide open airflow. Let's take a toke and see what I can produce, so you can see how much cloud production off lower wattage. It's not what I would like, but it's still pretty good. Pretty good, guys. It's not a very dense vapor. I would like to see them come out with double and triple mesh coils. Personally, I think that's the next tank I'm going to buy, the Mesh Pro, the Fireluke Mesh Pro. With that being said, keep on vaping. Love y'all. God bless.